Okay, so Peter, we're going to just cover this stance item, which we call clinical governance, that I think a lot of people either find kind of rather boring or just turns them off, or just rather anxiety provoking. So could you just talk about what is it?
Yeah, well, I think I absolutely agree. I think that the title, that governance, is a bit of an unhelpful term, and it sort of comes out of the idea that for welfare or care systems, you have to have systems in place to kind of manage aspects of practice. I'd like to move away from the words, because I think the words don't sort of help, and just think why do we have this stuff? What's it for? And I think one of the main things it's for is to help us to manage risky situations. Now, with the services that we're involved with AMBIT teams, the risky situations that we're mainly focusing on is the risks that young people pose to themselves, because these young people do things that are risky. They either harm themselves, either deliberately or sometimes not deliberately. And that's one of the things that obviously for AMBIT teams is a major concern, to make sure that young people are safe. That's a really key thing. And of course the other thing that these young people do is they do risky things to other people. And they can be involved in either violent or other sorts of activities that are, or just doing risky behaviour.
Okay, but can I just kind of bring you back, because the word that people get a bit spooked by is governance.
Yeah.
But because in a sense, it's about doing a good job by the young people that we're working with, and for the people they may harm.
Yes.
But equally, it seems to me that you're saying it's about being able to demonstrate to other people that I've done a reasonable job.
Yeah,
because terribly difficult things and worrying things do happen, even with the best clinical governance. The point that I think you're saying is about having some security that we have done things as well as could be expected in this setting, in this circumstance.
I think that's really good. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's so. One of the things that where services have got good clinical governance arrangements, seems to me, is when they've really worked out what they're going to do when certain risky things happen. So that they're clear. For example, when a young person says that they want to kill themselves or they're doing something of that sort, that teams and members of the teams are clear what the procedures are when young people say that. So you've got
plans.
They've got plans. So they don't suddenly go, oh, I don't know what on earth am I supposed to do here? No one's ever thought about this. So that those risky situations have been thought about before they happen, and preferably there are things written down so that staff can refer to as to when these things happen. These are the sorts of things that I should do. So that hopefully that would involve more likelihood that young people will be kept safe, because those things will be sensible aspects of practice, sometimes evidence-based practice. But also, from a staff member's point of view, they can then be reassured that they're doing the sort of things they're supposed to do when these risky situations occur. There's not something else that they should be doing other than those well worked out plans. And I think that's,
because I'm thinking this kind of relates to, this is one of we call them the stance things, and it relates to this practice that we call active planning.
Yes.
That everything that we do from the next 5 minutes to the next session that I might have with a young person or a family, to the next few months that I'm hoping to work with this young person or family, we have got some kind of plan for. Even though we change our plans maybe, but so it's kind of this active planning.
So just as in one way, just as one core idea about clinical governance is that that services have worked out what they do about these kind of risky situations before they occur. And that's one of the things that we would absolutely advocate as part of AMBIT, that these things have been thought about before they happen. Because where things go wrong is when you're having to make things up in situations that are risky and where people get very anxious.
And I guess equally, we might want to learn from experience, because we can't plan everything, but if something happens once, we might want to learn from it. And clinical governance is about that sort of loop that, oh my goodness, something's happened, I'll come back and bring something in so that the next time it happens, we'll remember it. And I guess that does link back to very much what we're talking about too.
Yep.
Okay.